Hello, ladies. As you could see by the title, I want to quickly talk about the situation in Europe since I'm an African European woman. And this could have happened to me if there would be a war in the country I was born and raised and live right now. Um, yeah, and that is that racism doesn't is like doesn't show no mercy. Let's say it like this. In the Ukraine, there is war, as we probably all know, and African people, and it includes African women who also got children, um, are being abused while they try to leave the country, like anybody else who lived in the Ukraine. And on the borders, they make differences between white Ukrainians and Ukrainians in general, and people who work there or live there, who got African roots. And I wanted to make a video to show you again why I talk about this whole black community stuff and why I have the opinion that racism will never stop, anti-black racism will never stop, and that's the fault of African men, or let's say a black man, all over the globe. They failed to build something with other black men. They failed to build resources to unify, to build a system within their own countries so nobody can use them and abuse them. They failed to do that. They made themselves, or they allowed themselves to stay dependent on the resources of other groups of men till this day. Like nothing really changed from 100 years ago. The slavery, let's say like this, and colonization is still there mentally and is being made in another way, you know. So black men fail to do that. What do? They are rather online, trying to compete with their own women, kill us every few hours, are submissive to white people. All the money and resources black women build and try to share and build generational wealth with black men, they spend it on their preferences. That means non-black women, so the resources can go back straight to the white man's community. And till this day they deny their mistakes. Till this day they don't care anything about that. But when things like this happen, we are surprised, we are shocked, we are traumatized. Of course we are. But I'm saying all of this to say, if black men would have built something in the last 100 years, last 100 years is maybe too much, the last decades, they had the chance, because black women been through the same and even worse, but we still managed to empower ourselves, to appreciate our blackness and find pride in it, and tried to build something, to build resources, even though we got it harder in society, since we are not only black, we are even women too. So black men don't have any excuses. I blame them. I truly blame them. It's not the task of other groups of men to protect black women. It's the task of black men. It's not the responsibility of other groups of men to protect or give resources to black men. It's black men's task to do. And if black men would have built something the last decades ago, and ladies, please, or whoever watches this video, please watch my video, A Chinese Man is Real, about black men, and maybe then you will understand it more clearer and better what I'm trying to say. There are no excuses. If black men would have built something like this, they could have built economical power, and with economical power comes political power, and with political power comes social power and respect. But nobody respects black men, and when nobody respects black men, why on earth should they respect the women of their community? Why should they? And the children. I saw the video, not the whole video, because it triggered me already to see the pictures and so on. But I started to see to watch the video from I Am Iloho. I used to follow her, but I don't do anymore because she's pro-black and I'm not pro-black, and like, But I watched the video of Iloho. You can go watch it too. But I didn't watch the whole video because, like I said, I was triggered. And then they showed that an African man said, yeah, and he was on point. He said, yeah, their pets and animals are being treated more like better than African people. It includes African men and African women. But like I said, I don't care that much about African men because we all know how, like, people look at the man of a group of people first to see how to see them, how to view them. Are they respectable or not? Should we respect them or not, or can we disrespect them and go away with that? Because if you would disrespect a white man or a white woman, you don't get away with that. But you can get away with disrespecting black women much more, much more, because we have zero security. Black men still, but this will end soon because their reckoning is coming. Black men still got protection from black women. Even though we black women, we cannot afford to protect anybody, we need to start to protect ourselves, to protect our image, and keep continuing building resources, because we are already the most educated and so on. We are hardworking, but we need to understand that black men are not worth investing. They are not worth it. So we need to invest into the right people, and that would be black women first, to keep the resources, the money within our group. Because we got nobody. Like, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Like, of course, this war is concerning. And of course, I feel sorry for everyone who suffers from the war. Don't get me wrong. But let's be honest. It's very hypocritical how the world is concerned about Ukraine. I think the world is concerned about Ukraine and makes all this, make the news all big. In comparison to other countries where there's war. First of all, because it's white on white crime, so we all need to care because it's white on white crime. And second of all, the country we deal with is a powerhouse and has very, very dangerous weapons. We are not 100 years ago where you had like fighting, I don't know the English words, but you get what I mean. I think where you just quote unquote just had like weapons like to shoot with. You had bombs, and you could also use airplanes to fight with. But nowadays we got dangerous weapons that can destroy countries, and I think that's what also concerns the world, and there's a potential for a third world war. Okay, but it's still like, I'm also glad people offer help and so on. That's what you're supposed to do. But to discriminate and abuse the black and brown people who try to flee from the country as well, who lived there maybe for years, maybe built a family even with a Ukrainian person, but since the Ukrainian men need to stay in the Ukraine, you don't, like, for example, when you're a black woman, you build a family with a Ukrainian man, and he needs to stay there to fight for his country, and you're at the border, they don't know that you got a white man as a husband, and then we are being mistreated, imagine that. It's already war, you already don't know if you will ever see your husband again, and then you are being mistreated because of the color of your skin. Because black men failed to build anything to gain respect and power. Imagine. Guys, right now I'm lost of words. All I can say is, guys, I'm a person. I've stopped watching news a long time ago. But since this is an important topic, I watch maybe once a day the news to stay up to date. But otherwise, I don't really want to watch news. And when I can mentally like have it, my mental health doesn't suffer too much. I try to look. Is there a way to specifically help Black women who flee from the Ukraine? Because the white Ukrainians for sure get support since they are white, and they also got like family members. If I can help, of course, since I support the women who look like me, but since I know we got zero protection. And when you did take a look at their finery club on Instagram, they made a post I really love, why people always feel the need to humble Black women. And then there was a page on that post, a slide on the post that said, yeah, everybody knows we got zero security. Yeah. So since everybody knows that, I will always prefer to help and support Black women. Not only prefer, like, I think exclusively, because nobody else needs our help. They got their systems, white men built a system for white women. They're extremely privileged, in comparison to other groups of women. uh yeah, guys, I digress so much. I wanted to say something else. Yeah, and it's hypocritical how we all say, yeah, pray for Ukraine. I mean, I get it for the reasons I've just mentioned. There's a potential for a third world war. And by the way, I've seen somewhere someone said, I think on the internet, someone said, yeah, when the third world war will start, Black people are going back to be slaves. Now we ain't got no time for this Black Lives Matter bullshit and all the whining and crying instead of acknowledging that Black men are the problem, and we as Black women should stop protecting them because they don't deserve that, and rather should build with people who are worth investing in. And yeah, like this we can build respect and political and social power. If Black women would put all the energy they got into themselves, we would be unstoppable. And the world knows that. Black men know that. And Black men know that without us, they wouldn't even exist, first of all. And second of all, they wouldn't have the privileges anymore. And they would have a harsh reality check, and they would be lost. They know it. So I cannot wait for the day the majority of Black women globally wake up, because this discrimination wouldn't happen if, like I said, Black men would have used the decades like Chinese men used their time, for example, to actually build something to gain respect and political and economical power. But Black men till this day cry and whine. Instead of competing with other groups of men, they compete with their own women and act like bitches. So excuse my language, ladies, but it's just frustrating sometimes, even though we understand the situation. But it's just frustrating, and I feel so sorry for Black women who go through this. As a woman, as a Black woman, you're so unprotected, you are traumatized because the country you lived in, there's all of a sudden there's war. That's traumatizing, but then you try to flee, and you deal with racism. Like, what on earth? What on earth? And pets and animals are being treated like this African man said in the news. Pets and animals are being treated much better than you. You are not seen as a human. You are not seen as valuable. Imagine how traumatized you must be. I really hope for the Black women who suffer there that they can flee the war and after that heal. Like, seriously, I ain't got anything more to say. It's also hypocritical because there are countries there's always war. Maybe people don't care because there's always war, but we don't need to act like people see brown lives or black lives as less valuable or not valuable since they treat pets better than humans that have a dark skin or brown skin, like in West Asian or Arabian countries. When there's war, they don't even care, but when it's white on white crimes, the whole world needs to care because it's white on white crimes. No, we don't care. But make no mistakes, ladies, even though I've mentioned the fact that brown lives don't matter to the world like white lives when it comes to wars, I make no mistakes. In these countries, in these areas I mentioned, they also live black people, including black women, and they also discriminate those people. Everybody discriminates black people, black women. You darker you are, the worse, and the less valuable you are. In these countries and areas of the world, they discriminate black people too. Make no mistakes. I don't try to see myself as the same as brown people like POC and so on. No, I'm not POC, I'm a black woman, okay? And I need to differentiate it because black women go through something else, too much worse things than POC people. I don't care what no one says, we all know that POCs also discriminate black people, black women. I mentioned black women because, like I said, I don't really align myself with black men since black men don't care anything about black women. So I thought it was important to mention that. I'm not seeing myself as the same as POCs. POCs also try to kiss the ASSAS of white people and worship whiteness and white skin, and bully black people are anti-black themselves. Yeah, so make no mistake. We don't care that much, or we don't care. We have the same care as when it comes to other countries. We don't care more about this war because it's white on white. No. Yeah, guys, racism will never stop, or the anti-blackness will never stop. We need to build something, use the opportunity, that there's not that blatant slavery or colonization anymore. But okay, there's still slavery in North African countries. But when you live in a Western country, really, please finish your high school, finish college, work, become an entrepreneur, anyways, become independent and invest in something and in people who are worth it, and try to build something with other sisters who are like-minded. It's important, and not with male identified black women or pygmies or whatever. Yeah. And let's stop investing in black men because, like I said, they are not worth it, and they proved that they are not worth it for years, consistently, and they rather bully us than actually building something in order to protect themselves and to protect the women and children of their community. They showed us that clearly, so what are we waiting for? Because things like this in Ukraine, where black women also are being abused and cannot flee without more problems from the country where a war is happening, even when they got children with them, is another proof and another consequence of black male failure. So guys, now end this video. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your support, and please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. It's a crazy new decade. I still remember when there were posts, and I also had that mindset. Yeah, 2020. It sounds so nice. It really the best decade ever, and so on. But it starts with a pandemic. We are still not over yet, at least in Europe or in my country. And now we got war in Europe, and there's a potential of a third world war. Perfect. It's a crazy decade. Maybe it's the last decade of humanity. I'm not sure. It's crazy, but at the end of the day, we don't have much influence. All we can do is trying to support other black women and live our lives, and take care of our mental health. And like I said, what I do, watch at um I watch once a day the news, or maybe a few days I skip, because you are going to know the news anyways. Like when I go to school, like people talk about that. I put my headphones on because I'm my mental health. At the end of the day, we can just watch and look what's going to happen because we don't have influence into that, and live our lives and take care of our mental health. Yeah, black women. I hope you're doing well. Beside that, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know your opinion to this topic. And please make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video as well as my channel. Like, I'm not going to be silent on this when black women are involved. Like, and I'm a European, so like, seriously, white people want us to care much more about white on white crimes. No, no. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and I see you in my next video.